Knowing how to pass around the pitch can give you a huge advantage in FIFA 21, as it can open up scoring opportunities before your opponent even knows it's happening. So with this video, I'm going to go over how to pass effectively in FIFA 21 to turn deflections and interceptions into goals instantly. So alright, let's get it. First off, we're going to go over one-touch passing. One-touch passing takes advantage of your ability to see the next guy open before you get the ball. If you play hockey games, you will be familiar with this type of quick passing game, as you have to think one and sometimes even two steps ahead so that you will pass to the next guy as soon as the ball touches the player's foot. And to perform one-touch passing, you aim the left stick at your target and quickly tap X or A before you fully receive the ball. One-touch passing is a great counter versus super aggressive defenders, giving them less time to take the ball from you. And also helps you play at a faster pace as you quickly move the ball forward, opening up opportunities for yourself before the defense knows what's happening. Next, we'll go over through balls. Probably the most used type of pass other than the ground pass is the through ball. And to do it, you tap triangle or Y on your controller. It's extremely effective if done right, as it passes the ball into wide open space and relies on your player to run it down. You want to throw this right when your player is about even with the defender so their run is synced up with you before they go off sides. Odds are if your through balls are going directly to the defender, you probably feel a little silly, and also means you probably threw it too early and the defender had the better angle on the pass, or they were already directly in the passing lane. This here, the passing lane is clear, and this is as easy a through ball that you will see. Other times, you're going to want to hold defenders or move them to open up a lane for yourself to pass a through ball. You see a passing chance forming, so you want to make sure you can get the ball around the defender by moving him away. Same thing here, as you see me trying to lure him away from the spot I want to pass into. Next are threaded through balls. This type puts the ball into space more by wrapping around defenders who try to block your through ball opportunities. Because if you can see them, odds are most of the time they can too. And this type lets the receiver run after it more, while the regular through ball will be more attached to the guy you're actually aiming at. To do a threaded through ball, you hold R1 or RB on your controller and hit triangle or Y. These add more of a curve to them, so they're especially beneficial when you're hugging the sideline, when a regular through ball won't be as effective, as this will loop around the defender into space for the player to run into. Because of this though, the closer you get to the goal, the less likely you want to use this, because you will sometimes end up passing it right to the keeper because the space becomes a lot more constricted. So be on the lookout for that. Now let's talk about lobbed through balls, which is just like a regular through ball, except it adds a little bit more air to counter defenders trying to deflect your regular through ball. So this lobs it right over them. And to do this, you hold L1 and triangle or LB and Y on your controller. This can also help on long range passes, getting it to the other side of the pitch quickly if there is an advantage to be had. Next are lofted through balls, which can help you in crowded areas, avoiding getting the pass blocked by blooping it onto a striker's foot for a scoring opportunity, but they don't go nearly as far as the others. And you do it by double tapping triangle or Y on your controller. Lofted through balls make it hard for your opponent to intercept the pass from you as you try advancing the ball into the attacking third. Now let's go over ground passing. The ground pass is the most basic pass and the one you will do most often in FIFA 21. To do it, you tap X on PlayStation and A on Xbox. And the longer you hold either button, the harder the ball will be passed to the guy you're aiming at. This type of pass only works if no defender isn't directly in your passing lane to intercept or deflect it, which is when you're going to want to mix up your approach with the other type of passes I've been going over. Now for driven ground passes. These are among my favorite types of passes to perform. A driven ground pass adds additional speed and distance to the pass to be able to cover long distances quickly. On a counterattack, these passes are money, for example, because of how much ground it covers. And to do it, you hold R1 and X or RB and A on your controller. You can also use this instead of a through ball when your target doesn't have wide open space in front of them to run into, but they're still open, so it gets them the ball quickly and then gives them more time to assess what to do next. or when you have a teammate on the opposite side of the goal running with you and the passing lane is clear. This is a great pass to attempt. Next, we got lofted ground passes. Now, a lofted ground pass works similar to a lofted through ball, as they're hard to intercept due to the trajectory you put on it and puts the ball right on your player's foot. A lofted ground pass is done by double tapping X or A on your controller. It doesn't lead your teammate as much as a lofted through ball would, so you want to utilize this more in the box so it goes directly to your target. All right, let's talk about the different types of crosses at your disposal. First is the high cross. If you're not familiar, crossers whip the ball into the opponent's box by aiming towards the front or back post. And to do a high cross, you hold L1 and square or LB and X on your controller. And you want to use about 2 to 3 power depending on how close you are. A high cross gets maximum air on the pass to let your tall strikers in the box use their height to soar over defenders and win a header, while also limiting, because of its trajectory, the likelihood of the keeper intercepting your pass, so that's nice. But because of its straight line nature, you don't want to use this from way too deep. Next is the driven cross. This is a lower trajectory type of pass, so headers are less of an option here, but we'll see an increase in other types of shots. To do a driven cross, you hold R1 and square or RB and X on your controller. If you see somebody running open to the back, the driven cross is an ideal pass because of its speed and accuracy. Next up is the driven ground cross. This cross can switch sides on the pitch very quickly, and to do it you hold R1 or RB on your controller and double tap square or X with at least 3 bars of power. This pass travels extremely fast on the ground. Next up is the grounded cross, which is a lot slower than the driven grounded cross and as a result easier to handle and run into for your striker. And to do it, you double tap square or X on your controller. The longer it travels on the ground, the more curve it will have towards the end of its path. And the last type of cross we'll be going over is the whipped cross. Now this is more suited for the long range, and a well-placed whipped cross can uncover a striker in a hurry. And to do this, you hold both R1 and L1 or LB and RB along with square or X on your controller. Now let's talk about how to trigger runs. When you're playing, you're not going to want to have too many players not moving around, as the defense will love that. So to trigger runs, you want to hold L1 or LB on your controller to send a player when the opportunity presents itself into the attacking third. Something like being under quick pressure and passing back will be a good time to trigger a run, for example, to beat the aggressive defender. And lastly, the pass and go. Give and goes are more and more important the closer you get to the net. To pull these off, you hold L1, LB, and then X or A on your controller. When the player passes, he will take off to an open area, and depending on what the defender does, he can overload that area and break free for a wide open shot before the defense even knows what's happening. Sorry people, hope you enjoyed the video, and if it helped you out, make sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online for more FIFA 21 content. And hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. Alright people, I'm Chris. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.